Greetings, YouTube. So apparently the GOP has decided that America doesn't need to fund science. They have helped to shut down a bill that would have helped to support basic research in the fields of science and math. It would have cost $40 billion over a 3-year period. Now you're going to say $40 billion is a lot of money, and it is. But over a 3-year period, that's not so bad. And if you think about it, the war in Iraq has cost the American population $723 billion since 2001. So maybe our money could have been better spent on basic science and math, the very foundation of what we base our technical civilization on. Because without this kind of funding to support basic research, India and China are going to outstrip us in their technical expertise. And of course, there's the whole concept that you'll be lacking knowledge that will benefit everybody in our species because, as the saying goes, rising tide raises all boats. But of course, I actually think the failure to fund this particular bill is part of the Republican strategy. See, ever since Nixon has started his Southern strategy, the goal of the Republican Party, at least in my view, has been to eliminate the middle class, to create a corporate oligarchy where you have a very small, rich upper crust, the top 1 or 2%, and then the remaining 98% will be a new form of feudalism, American serfs. And that's their goal. They want to have the top 2% and then everybody else be under them. They don't want people to be in that middle strata, which is the endangered species known as the middle class. Those people are a danger to the Republican strategy. They are not going to support the Republicans in many ways, unless, of course, the Republicans are good at, say, for example, getting them to vote against their best interest, which they excel at. But without this kind of funding, it makes the middle class more difficult for it to survive, because the types of jobs that the middle class is going to need is going to be supported by a good, solid technical base, which is being undermined by the fact that they don't want to support this bill. Now, the Republicans have had a long history of a war on science. In fact, there was a book, I believe I might have even reviewed it here, which is the Republican War on Science, which you should look up on Amazon and get a copy if you can find one. I believe they're available cheap used. And it's a really good explanation of how the Republicans not only undermine science directly, like this funding I'm just mentioning here, but they misuse science, they co-opt research, they get researchers to give them false pieces of data or data that is very ambiguous and that can be used so they can spin it so it comes out in a way that makes their position seem reasonable even though it's not. Now, don't get me wrong, everybody can spin data. As the old saying goes, there are lies, damn lies, and statistics. But actual scientific facts are hard to argue with. And I think that's another reason the Republicans don't want science to be funded, because science comes up with facts, they can't dispute them. Well, that's going to undermine their position, which is, of course, not their goal. But take a look at the article I'm going to link, and if you can, talk to your Congress critter and ask them, maybe you should support this kind of a bill. Interestingly, all the Democrats voted for this to support this bill. What a surprise. But they did get 15 of the Republicans to hop on board, and that was encouraging. When you can get any Republican to vote in a sensible manner, it's a banner day. But, when it comes to scorekeeping, GOP 1, science 0 is not really what I want to hear.